The Paris Rapid Transit System, consisting of the Metro and RER, also known as Réseau Express Régional, has undergone significant evolution and expansion since its establishment in 1900. This write-up will provide a year-by-year account of the development of the Paris Rapid Transit System, highlighting key milestones, distance expansions, and notable stations. The Paris Metro, also known as Métropolitain or simply Metro, was inaugurated on July 19, 1900. The initial line, Line 1, opened between Porte de Vincennes and Porte de Mailloux, covering a distance of 10 kilometers. The line included notable stations such as Bastille, Châtelet, and Charles de Gaulle Étoile. In 1903, Line 2 was opened, extending from Étoile to Nation. This line added 11 kilometers to the network and included stations like Père-Lachaise and Barbès-Rochechouart. Then, in 1904, Line 3 was inaugurated, connecting Villiers to Père-Lachaise. This line covered a distance of 5.5 kilometers and included stations such as Opéra and République. Line 4 opened in 1905, running from Porte de Clignancourt to Porte d'Orléans. This line added 9 kilometers to the network and included stations like Gare du Nord and Saint-Germain-des-Prés. In 1908, Line 5 began operation, extending from Gare du Nord to Lancry, now called Jacques Bonsergent. This line covered 5 kilometers and included stations such as Uberkampf and République. In 1910, Line 6 was inaugurated, running from Place d'Italie to Nation. This line added 9 kilometers to the network and included stations like Denfert-Rochereau and Nation. Then, in 1911, Line 7 opened, connecting Opéra to Porte de la Villette. This line covered a distance of 11 kilometers and included stations such as Cadet and Louis Blanc. Then, in 1912, Line 9 of the Paris Metro underwent an extension. The line was extended from Trocadéro to Ixelles-Mont, adding approximately 3 kilometers to its length. Line 4 experienced expansion in 1913. The line was extended from Porte de Clignancourt to Porte de Clignancourt-Simplon, adding around 1 kilometer to its overall length. Between 1914 and 1918, the outbreak of World War I in 1914 and its subsequent impact on France and Paris resulted in a slowdown in the development and expansion of the Paris Rapid Transit System. Resources and efforts were redirected towards the war effort, leading to a limited progress and construction activities during these years. After the end of World War I, some progress resumed in the Paris Rapid Transit System. Line 12 of the Paris Metro was inaugurated in 1916, running from Porte de la Chapelle to Notre-Dame-des-Champs. However, in 1919, an extension was made to Line 12 from Notre-Dame-des-Champs to Montparnasse-Bienvenue, adding approximately 2 kilometers to the line. This extension provided improved connectivity between the northern and southern parts of the city. In 1920, Line 8 began operation, running from Opéra to Porte de Teil. This line added 9 kilometers to the network and included stations like La Tour-Maubourg and Le Meute-Piquet-Grenelle. Then, in 1921, Line 9 was inaugurated, extending from Porte de Saint-Cloud to Porte de Montreuil. This line covered a distance of 10 kilometers and included stations such as Trocadéro and Nation. Again, in 1922, Line 10 opened, connecting Invalides to Croix-Rouge, now known as Sèvres-Babylone. This line covered 8 kilometers and included stations like Duroc and Odéon. In 1923, Line 7 of the Paris Metro saw an extension from Opéra to Palais Royal Musée du Louvre, adding approximately 1 kilometer to its length. This extension provided improved access to the Louvre Museum and the surrounding area. In 1924, Line 12 experienced 2 extensions during this year. The first extension was from Montparnasse-Bienvenue to Porte de Versailles, adding around 2 kilometers to the line. The second extension connected Porte de Versailles to Mairie d'Issy, further extending Line 12 by approximately 2 kilometers. Then, in 1925, Line 2 underwent an extension from Bagnolet to Alexandre Dumas, adding approximately 1 kilometer to the line. This extension improved transportation access to the eastern part of the city. After a year in 1926, Line 5 saw an extension from Gare du Nord to Lancry, which was later named Jacques Bonsergent, adding around 1 kilometer to the line. In 1927, Line 4 experienced an extension from Porte de Clignancourt-Simplon to Porte de la Chapelle, adding an extra 1 kilometer to the line. In 1928, Line 11 underwent a significant extension from Châtelet to Porte de Lila, adding around 3 kilometers to the line. This extension enhanced connectivity between the city center and the northeastern part of Paris. In 1929, Line 9 saw 2 extensions during this year. The first extension was from Excelmont to Pont de Sèvres, adding approximately 1 kilometer to the line. The second extension connected Pont de Sèvres to Billancourt, further extending Line 9 by around 1 kilometer. In 1930, Line 11 began operation, running from Châtelet to Port de Lila. This line added 6 kilometers to the network and included stations such as Belleville and Jourdan. In 1931, Line 12 opened, extending from Porte de la Chapelle to Mairie d'Issy. This line covered the distance of 12 kilometers and included stations like Pigalle and Montparnasse-Bienvenue. In 1935, Line 13 was inaugurated, connecting Saint-Lazare to Porte de Saint-Ouen. This line added 5 kilometers to the network and included stations such as Liège and Place de Clichy. After a year in 1937, Line 14 opened, running from Bienvenue, which is now Saint-Lazare, to Porte de Vanves, now Methuen-du-Vernay. This line covered a distance of 7 kilometers and included stations like Madeleine and Montparnasse-Bienvenue. Then, in 1938, Line 9 experienced an extension from Billancourt to Pont de Sèvres, adding approximately 1 kilometer to the line. In 1942, Line 10 saw an extension from Dieuroch to Le Motepiquet-Grenelle, adding around 1 kilometer to the line, improving connectivity between the southwestern and central parts of Paris. During the year 1943, no significant developments or extensions were made to the Paris rapid transit system. The metro lines continued their operations under wartime conditions. Due to the intensity of World War II, there were no notable updates or expansions to the Paris rapid transit system in 1944. The metro lines continued to serve essential transportation needs amidst the challenging wartime circumstances. Following the end of World War II in 1945, efforts focused on post-war recovery and reconstruction. However, the immediate aftermath of the war meant that resources and priorities were primarily allocated to rebuilding the city and its infrastructure. As a result, there were no significant developments or extensions made to the rapid transit system during this year. The post-war period witnessed some progress in the Paris rapid transit system since 1946. Line 13 experienced an extension from Carrefour-Pleyel to Basilique to Saint-Denis, which added around 2 kilometers to the line. In 1947, there were no significant updates or expansions to the Paris rapid transit system. Efforts were still focused on post-war reconstruction, and the metro lines continued their regular operations without notable changes. In 1948, Line 11 underwent an extension from Porte de Lila to Mairie de Lila, with an addition of 1 kilometer to the line. In 1950, Line 9 was extended from Pont de Sèvres to Boulogne-Jean Jaurès, adding another 1 kilometer to the line. This extension aimed to improve connectivity to the Boulogne-Billancourt area. In 1951, Line 1 of the Paris Metro underwent a major extension, from Porte-Maillot to Pont de Neuilly. In 1952, Line 13 saw an extension from Basilique de Saint-Denis to Saint-Denis Université. Again in 1953, Line 12 underwent an extension from Porte de Versailles to Mairie d'Issy, adding approximately 2 kilometers to the line. In 1954, Line 7 experienced an extension from Opéra to Palais Royal, Musée du Louvre. In 1955, Line 7 saw another significant extension from Palais Royal, Musée du Louvre to Pont-Marie. Then in 1956, Line 1 saw a significant extension from Porte-Maillot to Pont de Neuilly. In 1957, Line 13 underwent an extension from Carrefour-Pleyel to Saint-Denis-Basilique, adding around 1 kilometer to the line. In 1963, Line 13 saw a major extension from Basilique to Saint-Denis to Les Courties, adding approximately 4 kilometers to the line. In 1964, Line 8 underwent an extension from Pointe-du-Lac to Ballard, adding around 3 kilometers to the line. In 1967, Line 7 experienced a significant extension from Louis Blanc to Pré-Saint-Gervais. In 1968, the Réseau Express Régional, or the RER, was introduced as a new rapid transit system in Paris, aiming to provide efficient suburban and interurban transportation. The RER was developed to complement the existing metro network and connect various suburban areas to the city center. In 1971, the first RER line, which was RER-A, was opened, initially running from Nation to Boissy-Saint-Léger. This line covered a distance of 27 kilometers and included stations such as Châtelet-Léal and Gare de Lyon. In 1972, Line 3 of the Paris Metro saw a major extension. The line's Urquinaona branch became Line 4, extending from Porte de Clignancourt to Porte de la Chapelle. In 1973, Line 13 underwent an extension from Basilique de Saint-Denis to Carrefour-Pleyel. In 1974, Line 5 saw an extension from Église du Bontemps to Bobigny-Pablo Picasso. In 1975, Line 2 experienced a major extension. The line was extended from Porte de Bagnolet to Nation, adding around 4 kilometers to its length. In 1976, Line 4 underwent a significant extension from Porte de Clignancourt to Porte de la Villette. In 1977, RER-A was extended from Boissy-Saint-Léger to Marne-la-Vallée, Chissy, providing direct access to Disneyland Paris. This extension added 20 kilometers to the line. In 1979, RER-B began operation, connecting Denfert-Rochereau to Robinson, which was later extended to Saint-Rémy-les-Chevreuse. This line covered a distance of 34 kilometers and included stations such as Gare du Nord and Saint-Michel-Notre-Dame. In 1981, Line 7 saw an extension from Le Kremlin-Bicêtre to Villejuif-Louis-Aragon, adding around 3 kilometers to the line. In 1982, Line 6 underwent a significant extension from Charles de Gaulle-Étoile to Kléber. This extension improved transportation access to the western part of the city. Then, in 1983, RER-B was extended from Robinson to Saint-Rémy-les-Chevreuse, adding an additional 9 kilometers to the line. In 1984, Line 14, also known as Meteor, saw an extension from Madeleine to Châtelet. In 1985, Line 6 experienced an extension from Kléber to Charles de Gaulle-Étoile. In 1986, Line 1 saw a significant extension from Château de Vincennes-Val-de-Fontenay to Château de Vincennes-La Défense, adding approximately 8 kilometers to the line. This extension improved connectivity between the eastern suburbs and the La Défense business district. In 1987, RER-C was inaugurated, running from Pontoise to Versailles-Château-Rive-Gauche. This line covered a distance of 39 kilometers and included stations such as Saint-Michel-Notre-Dame and Invalides. In 1991, RER-E began operation, connecting Chelles-Gournay to Villiers-sur-Marne, Le Plessis-Trevis. This line covered a distance of 23 kilometers and included stations such as Magenta and Haussmann-Saint-Lazare. In 1992, RER-C was extended from Versailles-Château-Rive-Gauche to Versailles-Chantier, adding 4 kilometers to the line. In 1994, RER-C saw further extensions, including the addition of branches from Invalides to Saint-Quentin-aux-Yvelines and from Javel to Versailles-Rive-Gauche. These extensions expanded the line by approximately 30 kilometers. In 1995, Line 3 of the Paris Metro underwent a major extension. The line was extended from Gambetta to Guéligny. In 1996, Line 14, also known as Meteor, was further expanded. The line was extended from Bibliothèque François Mitterrand to Olympiade. In 1998, Line 14 saw another extension, further enhancing its coverage. The line was extended from Olympiade to Madeleine, completing the loop which added 2 kilometers to its length. In 1999, RER-E was extended from Villiers-sur-Marne, Le Plessis-Trevis to Tournon, covering 8 kilometers. In 2001, Line 14, also known as Meteor, underwent further extension. The line was extended from Madeleine to Saint-Lazare. In 2003, Line 14 saw another extension, expanding its coverage. The line was extended from Saint-Lazare to Châtelet. In 2004, RERD was introduced, connecting Uri-le-Villequois to Moulins. This line covered a distance of 68 kilometers and included stations such as Gare du Nord and Châteaulet-Lial. In 2006, RERD was extended from Moulins to Malesherbes, adding 43 kilometers to the line. In 2007, Line 2 of the Paris Metro saw a major extension. The line was extended from Porte d'Orléans to Mairie de Montrouge, adding approximately 1 kilometer to its length. In 2008, Line 13 underwent an extension from Saint-Denis Université to Agnes, Gennevilliers, Les Corties, adding around 4 kilometers to the line. In 2009, Line 3 experienced an extension from Galigny to Porte de la Chapelle, adding approximately another 3 kilometers to the line. In 2010, Line 12 underwent a significant extension from Porte de la Chapelle to Front Populaire. In 2011, RERE was extended from Tournon to Villiers-sur-Marne, Plessis-Trévis, Boissy-Saint-Léger, completing a circular route and increasing the line's coverage by 11 kilometers. Line 4 saw an extension from Porte de Clignancourt to Mairie de Montrouge, completing a loop. In 2012, Line 1 of the Paris Metro underwent a major extension. The line was extended from Château de Vincennes to Vincennes. In 2013, Line 4 saw an extension from Mairie de Montrouge to Bagneux-le-Six-Aubrac, adding around 1 kilometer to the line. In 2014, Line 12 underwent a significant extension from Front Populaire to Aubervilliers-Front Populaire. In 2015, Line 4 experienced another extension from Bagneux-le-Six-Aubrac to Montrouge, completing another loop. In 2016, Line 14, also known as Meteor, underwent further expansions. The line was extended from Saint-Lazare to Saint-Lazare-Madeleine, and from Olympiade to Bibliothèque François Mitterrand. In the year 2019, Line 14 saw another extension from Saint-Lazare-Madeleine to Saint-Lazare-Pont-Cardinet. In 2020, the Grand Paris Express project was initiated, aiming to further expand and improve the Paris rapid transit system. This ambitious project includes the construction of new metro and RER lines, as well as extensions to existing lines, with the goal of enhancing connectivity throughout the metropolitan area. Overall, the Paris rapid transit system has undergone significant development since its inception in 1900. The expansion of the metro and the introduction of the RER have played a crucial role in providing efficient transportation options for residents and visitors, as well as facilitating connections between the city center and suburban areas. With ongoing projects such as the Grand Paris Express, the future of Paris rapid transit system continues to evolve, promising further improvements in accessibility and connectivity.